And I'm so glad to see you here. Can you unmute your mic? Come on in and tell the audience who you are and what brought you here today.
Sure. What's up, Trevor? And hello, everybody. I see some familiar faces who I know. Hey, Daryl. Hello. So my name is Adriel. I lost my job on April 1st of last year. After that, decided to try to help some folks out, save money, and build community. So I started a group called Riveter. You'll find it at riveterworks.com. It's a free community where we help job seekers save money and get a lot of job search tools. So I came here because Trevor is the man. He has done events with us. I like learning from you. I had a minute. I just wanted to join and listen and didn't think you'd call on me. But while I'm here, I hope you guys all check out riveterworks.com and keep following Trevor because he rocks.
Man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. And yeah, I saw your face, so I had to pick on you. I had to throw you under the bus. And guys, he does a great job. He provides a lot of resources and is doing some amazing work up there. And, I got to join him. And so make sure you connect. Can you put your link in the URL?
Yeah, I'll drop a link right now, and I'll also drop my LinkedIn. So I hope you all, I hope you all connect on both.
I just said, can you put your link in the URL? That wasn't right. That didn't
confusing day.
Sense.
Monday.
Yeah, confusing. It's Monday. Can you put your link in the URL? No, that didn't make any sense. Put your link in the chat. There you go. Put your link in the chat. We also have another special guest with us today. Steve Miller is in the house. Steve, can you unmute your mic and tell everybody who you are and what brought you here today?
Yeah, thanks, Trevor. It's great to meet you and great content on the previous call. I'm in Atlanta and Puerto Rico, where I go back and forth between the two. I have been self-employed since 1992. I volunteer for a ministry here in the Atlanta area that helps people who are in career transition called C3G. You all may want to look that up and attend on Mondays at 7:45 Eastern. I serve people who are interested in working for themselves as opposed to a corporation. I've been self-employed since 1992. So I'm a coach and consultant for people who are interested in that. I will put my LinkedIn profile in the chat right now, and you can connect with me or send me a message, learn more there.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for being here, and thanks for sharing. I did have a question for you because I get this one a lot. So I always like to see if there are different insights that maybe you have or you could share on like best networking practices. I get that all the time. People are trying to connect. They want to have these conversations. They're trying to open doors because they understand that's what it takes to get landed nowadays. But just best practices, right? Because a lot of times job seekers, that wasn't their forte. Networking was never their forte for most folks. So curious to see if you had any tips, strategies, or anything that maybe could help shed some insight.
Yeah, thanks. A couple things I would recommend. One, you've got to learn to network. That's going to be the key. You're selling yourself. If you can't sell yourself, then you're in deep trouble. Number two, 3-foot rule. Everybody you know is a prospective person to network for a role, and a lot of people want to help you. They genuinely are interested in helping you. I'll tell you a quick story. I know someone some years ago that had a young lady who cleaned their home, and he was with a telecom company, MCI, for those who remember back in the day. He had been home for a couple of weeks while she was cleaning their home, and she said, "Why are you not at the office?" And he said, "I'm in transition. I'm looking for a job." And the lady who cleaned their home said, "Well, what are you looking for?" And she said, he said, "I'm in telecom." And she said, "Well, I got a client. I clean their home. He works for Verizon. Would you be interested in a conversation if I introduced you?" He said, "Absolutely." He hired him within a week. And it was the person who cleaned their home. I've heard this where people in the checkout line at the grocery store have a card printed up with your name, phone number, email address. Keep it really concise, maybe your LinkedIn, but hand it out to people. You just never know who you might encounter, but networking is the key.
That's such a great advice. We hear that a lot too. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You just never know where it's going to come from. I have a story that I'll tell you guys real quick. So many years ago, I was working at Harley Davidson. Okay. And I sold Harleys for a few years. And there was a guy there I worked with. Saw some thumbs up. So that's awesome. So there was a guy there I worked with who I really didn't care for that much. Okay. We did not get along. Okay. Did not get along at all. Well, life goes on. I was a kid back then. I was literally 20 years old. I was 20, okay, when all that was happening. Like 10 years later, fast forward, life goes on. We mature, we grow up, right? And, I helped him to land a job at New York Life. And he's since then been promoted and like great things have happened for him in his life. But it was a relationship that wasn't even a good one, right? Wasn't even a good relationship, but I helped him, right? I helped him make that transition. So anyways, guys, you never know where it's going to come from. It could be an old boss that fired you. We hear that a lot. Like, reach out to these people because you just never know, right? That's a great tip. Okay, so I've got some news for you. Some of you maybe already know this. But I really want to shed some insight on this because it's massive news for each and every one of you. I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. So a lot of you know that I went to LinkedIn jail. How many of you knew that? A bunch of hands. So I got locked up. Okay. I got locked up, got put in LinkedIn jail. It was a fun experience. I got to learn a lot. Yeah. I see the comments come through. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm out of jail. I'm out on bail, y'all. I'm fresh out on bail from LinkedIn. But I learned a lot, and actually, this is going to be to your benefit, to each and every one of your benefit that this happened. So let me kind of give you some backstory first, and then I'm going to walk you through what you need to do because this is some amazing stuff for you. So the backstory: back in July, I sent in a petition to LinkedIn because there was a feature that I wanted really bad. They have a feature. It's really cool. It's the plus follow. Okay, it's the follow button, not on your profile, but on your content. Okay, so every time, I want you to imagine this, every single time that you're posting content and you're doing your articles and your videos and your pictures and you're posting your content, that follow button will pop up on your content. Okay. Now, this was an amazing feature. All content creators want to have this because it will allow them to grow really fast because people will just follow them from the news feed. And but they had a benchmark. LinkedIn said you had to have at least 30,000 connections first. Okay. That's the way it's been for a long time. So you had to have this massive network in order to get this feature. So most people in here, I'm curious, does anybody in this room have 30,000 connections?
No.
Hell no. Right? No, we don't have, like, that's a lot, right? And actually, just so you know, 30,000 is the max that you can have in connections. So did you guys know that? You can't have more than 30,000 connections. That's all they give you. That's all you get, 30,000. Okay? Otherwise, you got to start turning people away. Like you can't accept anymore after 30,000. That's all you get. So, it made people, what it did is it made people, because they want that follow button on their content, it made them start going out, building inauthentic networks. So they were just going out, connect, maxing it out so that they could get that follow button, because the follow button is very valuable. It allows you to grow really fast. So I put in a petition. I said, I don't agree with that because, again, it's making people just connect. And so that's the backstory. I did that petition. I got about 30 content creators to put in a petition with me. We all submitted cases to LinkedIn. I got all those cases, compiled them up, sent them to LinkedIn. Well, I didn't hear anything back from them. And then a week ago, I think it was, we were doing the show. We're doing the Who You Know show, and literally halfway through the show, here's the audience. I watched the audience go, like my account got like locked me down. They put me in LinkedIn jail. And I'm sitting here going, what is going on? Well, I found out through a process of verification. I had to send in my driver's license. I got my one phone call, you know, that you get one phone call and you get to talk to LinkedIn. And through that process, I got my one phone call and I talked to them and they said, well, you'd been sending out connection requests and here was the message. And basically what it was is I was instructing my assistant to go out and anybody that liked my content to send them a connection request and say, hey, thanks for liking it. Appreciate the like. Let's connect if you want to see more of my content. Well, enough of those people said they didn't know who I was. They were like, I don't know who Trevor Houston is. So it triggered an auto spam. Okay, so it triggered auto spam. They shut my account down. But when I got that phone call, I got to discuss with them. I got to talk to them and say, listen, this is why. Back in July, I told you this. You're making people connect with people because they're trying to hit 30,000, right? So she did some research. She looked it up and she says, you know what? You're right. You did tell us this in July. We agree with you. So they apologized. They agreed. They gave me the follow button and then they changed it for the entire platform. So literally, okay, we just said no one here has 30,000 connections, right? Right? Anybody here with 30,000? Okay, nobody has 30,000 in this room, but you all get to have that feature now. Each and every one of you get to have that feature now because I got locked up. And it allowed me to voice my opinion to LinkedIn, and they sided with it. They liked it. They took the feedback. So how awesome is that?
Your pain was our gain.
That's what I'm saying. So let me show you guys, because I want to make sure you all understand what this is and why it's going to benefit you. Okay, how many of you are creating content right now? How many of you are doing content? You're posting things on LinkedIn. You're trying to bring those recruiters into you, right? Well, okay, the follow button is going to help that process. Trust me, it's going to help that process. So let me share my screen real quick, and I want to walk you through this so that each and every one of you, when you leave here today, you can go do this. And by the way, here's a quick video. I'm going to share this with you guys too that talks about what I just discussed. Let's see, where's my... yeah, I'll share that with you guys here in just a second. Oh, wait, there it is. There's my chat. There we go. All right, here, I'm going to share this with you guys so you can see this video. So you guys can go check that out. Here's the video where I talk about going to LinkedIn jail and how I escaped from LinkedIn jail. And actually, the behind the scenes of it. These are the folks right here. I would appreciate if you guys go to this, tell them thank you. Because here was the other 30 folks that put in that petition with me. Tell them thank you because they helped. It wasn't just me. I had to be the sacrifice and go to jail for it, but it was the petition. We all worked together to make this happen. But here's what you're going to want to do. You go up here and you're going to go to your settings and privacy. Okay, settings and privacy. And when you go to settings and privacy, you got all these different ones that pop up. You're going to go to visibility. Okay, and at the very bottom, right here, it says followers. You're going to see that and you're going to click on it. Okay, and you're going to turn your primary, it says make follow your primary. So you're going to enable this for follow to be your primary. And then what you're going to do is you're going to select this right here. It says everyone on LinkedIn, not just my connections, but everybody on LinkedIn. Okay. And then you'll just save that. And that will get that follow button on your content so that it looks like this. Let me show you real quick so you guys know what I'm talking about. That's what it will look like on your content. Okay. So people will see it in the newsfeed and they'll click follow, and that will help you to grow. And those people will start to see more and more and more and more and more of your content. So again, the goal is to build your following, not build your connections, right? So that was the point I made to LinkedIn. Like, hey, people are building their connections so they can get their following. That's backwards. So now go ahead and switch it over, guys. You'll get that on your content. So I hope that helps you. It's a massive, I don't think you guys, it's huge. You don't even understand how big that is. It's really, really big deal. So I'm excited to share that with you. Let's see. Anybody have questions on that? Okay, I see David. David, come on in. Uh-oh. There you are.
Unmuted. So how is being a follower different from being a connection? And does this new tool have any effect on people's ability to connect with me? And why do I want them to follow if they're not a connection?
Great, great, great question. So what happens is if they are not connected to you, right? If you're not connected, a first connection, you don't have unlimited messages back and forth. Okay, you don't have unlimited messages back and forth. They have to connect with you for that to happen. Okay, so that's the advantage of being connected. But I want you to think about it, how easy that is. Like, in order for somebody to connect with you, they have to go to your profile and they got to press the button, right? Here, they don't even have to go to your profile. Literally, they see you in the news feed. They don't even have to go to your profile. They can just follow you, right? Just right then and there. Now, people can still connect with you. So it's not removing the fact that they can't connect. They still can. They can still send you a connection request, but it's a secondary option. Okay, it's a secondary option. So it's a great question. Great, great, great question. Does that make sense? Shaking your head, but I don't know. I want to make sure that that was clear. Because
yeah, I think it does. I think it does. Thank you.
Yep. Instead of let me see if I can. Well, I want to show it to you. There's on your profile. What you'll see is you'll see a follow button when you switch it over. Instead of connect, it will turn to follow. But then there will be like 3 dots next to it that somebody can click, and then they'll see the connect button. So the connect will be a secondary option, right? Follow will be your primary option. Okay.
Just to be clear, if they're not connected to me, but they're following me, they can see all my posts. They just can't have a conversation with me. Correct?
Correct. They can't message you without a in-mail message.
Thank you.
Correct. Bingo. You got it. You got it. 100%. Which is okay, right? Which is totally okay. You know, what you want to do, like, imagine this, guys. I want you just to picture this for a second. Imagine you're creating content out there and you have a bunch of people, whether it's companies, but forget that. Let's just say it's not even a company. It's a complete stranger, right? And you make it really easy for them to follow your content. What did Steve say earlier? You never know where it's going to come from, right? Didn't Steve say that earlier? You just never know who's connected to who's listening, who puts it together. So don't you want to make it really, really, really easy for the whole world to start following your content so that you have a higher likelihood of those things start to happen, right? Does that make sense? All right, cool. So I wanted to make sure we covered that today. That was my big news for the day. I wanted to make sure you guys understood that and it was crystal clear. I'll put it to you this way: in one day, off of one post, okay, I got it was like 150 new followers. Just one post, boom. They saw the newsfeed. They didn't have to go to my profile. They just went, they followed, right? So the same type of thing will start to happen for you guys, and you'll have more awareness. You'll bring more awareness to your job search. All right.
Hey, want to just give a shout out to Jim Young. He's here in the Zoom with us, and he's actually going to be hiring. So he's got a post that's going out at the beginning of the year, but he wants to give you guys, first rights to it. So Jim, if you want to,
Nice.
yeah, tell him what Jim is actually an alum, so to speak. So.
Yeah, I've been on the market for about 16 months already, and I started my own franchise business. Just lost my video.
Can you guys hear him?
No.
No. It like, Jim, when you first came in, it like was good, and then all of a sudden it cut off. I don't know what it was. Yeah, your audio was good at first, and then it cut down.
Yeah, I'm gonna paste, Jim. I'm gonna paste what you had sent us, at least the text in the chat, so you guys can see. I put that in a little earlier too, but there's what he's hiring for, senior tech.
Yeah. I think he might even be frozen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably an internet thing.
Yeah, he's actually he's starting up an IT consulting business, and so he's actually going to be hiring for a senior IT technician in the west side of DFW. So if you know anybody, or if that is a category that you're in, be sure to connect with Jim. I'll put his email in there, but I'll put his LinkedIn profile as well.
Yeah, he went out. I'm sure he'll pop back in. Looks like it's probably just an internet issue.
Yep.
All right. So what are some things that you guys have been dealing with recently that you know that if you got some help with it in your job search, it could help you, right? It's one of those things. It's kind of like a roadblock. Could be a big thing, could be a small thing, but look, if I got a little bit of support in this area, it could help me out. Anybody want to share? Transitioning to a new industry, Shanette says. Shanette, you want to unmute your mic and come on in with that?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
So the majority of my HR experiences are in the realm of education and trying to go back to corporate after spending about 12 years doing HR, excuse me, primarily for school districts, has been a huge barrier.
Got it. So, yeah, what is the challenge? Are you just not able to have that conversation with them, or what's the big challenge that you're getting, or the big rejection or obstacle that you're faced with in that transition?
Well, I'm not getting as many opportunities to interview, so that's the biggest barrier.
Got it. So typically you would get more in, if I'm trying to make sure I'm understanding correctly. So in HR, you did HR in the educational space, or
Yes.
you're trying to train? Okay, so that's what you did previously.
Mhm.
And now what are you trying to do in the educational space?
Now I'm trying to step out of the educational
Out.
space. Yes.
Got it.
Mhm.
Into what industry?
Ed tech would be great. I thought that would be a great way to transition. Hasn't been as easy as I thought it would be. So I'm pretty open to industry.
Got it. Okay. But HR is what you do. That's what you do.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Here's something that, I don't know. Are you part of the Dallas HR or the HR focus group here in the area?
No,
No. Where are you from?
New York.
New York. Okay. Awesome.
Mhm.
Well, I'm so happy you're here, because we have some resources here that can hopefully open up some doors. Are you part of any HR association?
SHRM, yes.
You're part of the SHRM. Okay. I would check and see if they have a local chapter that has any job resources, because I know Dallas does. Dallas has, it's called Dallas HR. They have a
Yes.
group there called JobLink, and that's what a lot of these folks will do is get in that group and start networking to try and start opening some doors for you. So that's one. And then Foster leads a group. Foster Williams leads a group. It's a Dallas, or not Dallas. It's the HR focus group here in Dallas. So we can get you some resources on that. Hopefully that can help you. What are your guys' thoughts? Did any ideas come to mind as she was talking that you guys have that maybe could help her?
Jeanette, I've got some ideas for you. Number one is actually a good network partner of ours, Craig Fisher, had addressed the question specifically of transitioning to a different industry or a different field, right? So you're coming out of the education sector. HR is your profession, your expertise. But what you could look for is staying in that role, staying in the HR role, but working with companies like you had mentioned, ed tech, that work in or among the sector that you're coming from. So not necessarily, like his analogy was, if I want to go across the pond, I don't just go straight across the pond, across the water. I have to go around, right?
Exactly.
And so your strategy is to work around. And again, I sent a link in. I don't know if you're familiar with NYSCATE. But NYSCATE is the Education Technology Association in New York. They actually have an annual conference that you might want to check out, right? Go look at and just go as an attendee maybe to the conference. All sorts of education technologies, that's who exhibits at the show, and go and network and make some connections there. That'd be a good way to get your foot in the door. I actually came from education technology and the tech sales side. So we can connect after this, make sure we connect, and maybe I can point you in some right direction. We actually just had a young lady on our show 2 weeks ago who she's with Facebook now, but she was plugged in, and it still is plugged into the ed tech sector, if you will. She's got a lot of connections too. Maybe we can plug you in.
Where it's at here.
Hey, hey, Mark, this is Mary Leone. I wanted to add something, if that was okay.
Yeah.
One of the things that's been really big, and I've had a lot of success with in HR, is they have a whole bunch of free webinars that people are advertising on LinkedIn. What I do now, I'm interested in the transitioning veterans, people with disabilities, and diversity space. So what I would say is follow the spaces that you're interested in and sign up for one of the webinars. Then what I do is I send a thank you note to the presenters and other people who are speaking on the panels. And I just thank them for, some kind of word of wisdom that they shared, and then try to connect with them. And I've had a huge success with that. Probably 75 or 80% of those people connect. And then I let them know, what I'm interested in. I'd welcome the opportunity to interact with them. And, maybe it's even just 15 or 20 minutes, but it's a way to put your foot in the door. And usually people are really interested in helping. So, so that's another thing that I've had a lot of success. And again, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's free that you can participate in. Maybe it's an hour or two a week, but that would be a great place to start your networking as well.
Great point. I love that. I'm going to add to that too. So a lot of times these groups, guys, they're like, there's going to be the leaders of the groups, right? Like myself, Mark, we've got Holly. I think she's on here. Yeah, Holly's here. You'll have the people who are facilitating the group and leading the group. And what you want to do is go start to build a relationship with those folks. And one of the easiest ways that you can do that, to build that relationship, is to volunteer, right? Ask them. Say, hey, listen, I know I was planning on attending your group, this upcoming webinar or whatever that you got going on. I was planning on attending your group, but before I did, I just wanted to reach out to you, see if there's anything that you need from me, if I can volunteer in any way, if there's anything I can do, if you need anything, right? And volunteer to them. And a lot of times they'll say, oh no, we got it covered, we're all good, right? But you just never know. And so that's a good way to to get your foot in the door with those folks, because those folks usually know everybody, right?
Trevor, I have another suggestion for Jeanette. And there are probably other people in the tech industry in this group today, so they can weigh in on this. But Jeanette, one reason that you're not finding training and education jobs in tech HR is because there aren't any. That's not where training and education happens. In the tech industry, I know of roughly a quadrillion trainers, et cetera. I'm a former CEO in the tech industry, just retired, and they all work in professional services. So if you're looking in HR for training and education, HR department in tech, you're going to find approximately zero. It's not where they exist. They exist in professional services, whether it's called services, professional services, consulting, whatever. That's where a huge number of training jobs are. So if you reorient your search that way, that'll get you around the pond, and you'll land in a horn of plenty.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
That's good, man. That's good. Sometimes it's like maybe you're looking in the wrong place, right? And guys, I love this. See, this is all about collaboration, right? If we can collaborate together, we've got the answers in this room. The answers are here, right? Mm-hmm. And so if we can figure out how to get the answers out, I love that. Thanks, Don, for sharing that. I really appreciate that. I really do. Let's see what else. What are some other things? I see Daniela says more interviews. That was the big one for her. Daniela, you want to unmute your microphone?
Yes. Hi, everybody. This is Dan. I'm here. So I'm a B2B marketing executive. I've been in the job search since October. I've had 5 interviews so far.
Oh,
but do you think that's good? I
since
wish I had
October,
more.
yeah. No, since October, that's actually, I love this. Okay, see, a lot of times, guys, you may not even understand like maybe how well you're doing. It's hard to understand how well your job search is going until you land a job, right? Like you just don't know, are you doing well? Are you not doing good? Like, how are you doing? Like you're actually 5 since October. Guys, let her know how good she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be so lucky.
You're probably going to land any time now. And so what you want to do is make sure that you're practicing those interviews. You got to ace those things, right? So a tool that I would say that I would highly recommend is the practice interview team, the Pit Crew. Have you heard of that before?
Yeah, you referred me to them, but I couldn't find their contact on their website, how to reach out to them.
Yes. I don't think they actually have a website. They are on one of the church's websites. So let me get you that. They have an email and a phone number you can reach out. But Yeah, but they don't actually have a website.
Okay.
You email them and you send in the email and you say, hey, here's the job description I want to interview for. And they'll schedule it and get you on the calendar and all that good stuff. So if you need that info,
right.
I'll pull it. I'll get up here and I'll pull that. The practice interview team here. 1 second. Pull that for you. Make sure everybody has
I've
that.
got it. I've got it.
Yep,
I put it in the chat.
Okay, awesome. Yeah,
Thank
guys.
you.
So for those of you that don't know about that service, it's awesome, right? Here in again in Dallas Fort Worth, they have a service called the Dallas Pit Crew Practice Interview Team, and it's built up of hiring managers, volunteers. Most of them are seeking employment. Most of them are seeking, and they'll volunteer their time and they'll do panel interviews and they'll do different stuff. Has anybody here volunteered for that before? Any volunteers in the room? JC, I see him raising his hand. JC, you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, basically, it's a great activity. They put together a list of questions, and it basically simulates actually being in the interview. We've gotten some feedback that says, maybe sometimes this is a little bit tougher, but better to have a tougher interview up front to give you that extra confidence boost going in. So basically what you do is you'll reach out to the contact info. You need to send a copy of the job description so they can line you up with people that have at least some relevance towards interviewing for that position, and they'll schedule a time. You let them know the job description that you're interviewing for and when you're available. And you got to give them a few days to put it all together. And the people at the pit crew will link you up with volunteers such as myself and set it up. And basically it's an online interview. And in some cases, they'll actually record it and send you a recording back as well. So you can see how you're looking, see what you look like on the screen. And just rave reviews back from people that have participated in it. And I know for myself, it even helps being a practice interviewer as well.
Yeah, that's massive. That's massive.
Thank you.
Hey, Trevor, would you mind if I shared something about practice interviews too?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Yeah, I wanted to quickly share. So there's an event that, similar to that, but there's an event that we do every single week called Mock Interview Speed Dating, where a bunch of job seekers, I just dropped it in the chat, but a bunch of job seekers gather, basically drill each other on questions. So you'll find new questions, new feedback, new people giving you new feedback every single time. So I just dropped the next event that we're doing there. Of course, all free. And then also a week after that on January 11th, we're launching something where you'll be able to practice an interview with yourself and then get feedback from the whole Riveter community. So there will be coaches, there will be just other job seekers who might give feedback, or kind of keep it private, just practice and share with others. Because I think especially since 98% of our interviews right now and 80% of our jobs are all virtual, practicing in front of a camera, hearing how you sound, seeing what your background looks like, hearing what other people think of that. If you communicate well, especially without another person right there in front of you, is really valuable. So continuing that practice, even if you don't have an interview next week, right? Staying sharp on that practice, staying sharp on your communication skills is super valuable.
Yeah, that's a great option. And absolutely, it's so hard to get the interview. You don't want to blow it once you get there. So all the practice you can do, the better off you are.
Yeah, guys, that's super important. And hey, Adriel, thanks for sharing that. I love your events, man. You're doing awesome stuff out there. So thanks for coming here and getting with these folks so they know, where to go, right? That's what it's all about. It's all about who you know. So, hey, another note too, guys. So if you're doing these video interviews and stuff like that, you may need to, okay, I know it's a tough time for a lot of folks, but you may need to go upgrade your camera. Okay. Just saying. Some people, I look at their stuff and I'm like, oh my gosh, their cameras, you might need to go upgrade your camera. Okay. You can get one of these for, $75, $100, whatever, get you a nice camera. But it will make a lot of difference. If your picture's all grainy and kind of like coming in and doesn't look good, right? You may need to go upgrade your camera. So, G, I saw you had your hand up.
Hey, I was just going to drop something back into the chat about the pit crew. I think I saw Lori post a comment that she hadn't heard back yet. And I actually, as a volunteer, I just started recently volunteering. I've been through a few of them with the pit crew, and I'm a recruiter. And I will say, you guys, honestly, I don't care where you're at in your interviews, as a recruiter, as a job seeker, you learn something. I did not even know what to expect to learn as a volunteer. And to Lori, if you haven't heard back yet, I know Mark McDonald, he seems like a great guy. I don't know him very well, but I can only admit he's probably pretty busy. I know that it took me a couple of times to get some feedback in terms of volunteers, but he always seems to have a need and is making that call for people. So I would just send another message, or even just ping him, leave a voice note even, if you can.
Well, on that note too, so, and thanks for sharing that. Yeah, guys, you got to understand, there's a lot of need for that. Like that practice interview team, I would assume they stay super busy. That would be my assumption. Okay. But we don't do them. So I would assume that's the case. If that is the case for you guys, I want to, something that's on my heart, I would like to do something similar to what they're doing. But it's going to take through volunteers because we've got our hands in a lot of things right now. So it would have to come through volunteers. And, like I had mentioned to you guys before, we're still working on our mobile app right now. And part of that mobile app will be to sign up for small groups. So I'm thinking about adding that in there too, where you can, sign up to be a volunteer for, a practice interview. So you'll be the interviewer, and then people can go and sign up through the app and, do a practice interview. So But it'll take volunteers. We're going to need volunteers to be able to do that stuff.
Hey, Trevor, can I add one thing to that?
Yeah.
Kathy put a note in the chat about Walt Glass. Walt Glass does a version of that if you're familiar with
Yep.
Career DFW. And they take a little bit, he terms it learning without squirming. Basically, they pair you up with another person, you interview each other, and afterwards he sends you a video. And so again, so you can see how you're doing, and a bunch of pointers on how to answer the other questions. And that program can be very helpful too.
That is awesome. Yeah, Walt Glass is awesome. We've had him on the show before. Yeah, he's a great guy. Okay. I mean, so how many of you you're not from Dallas, Fort Worth? Like, see a bunch of hands going up. You're not from Dallas, Fort Worth. Okay. So Dallas, Fort Worth, we just have an immense amount of resources for job seekers. There's a lot, right? It started in the churches. Okay. A lot of these churches, they have these groups, Frisco Connect, South Lake Focus Group. There's a bunch of them. I mean, there's just a ton. And so, yeah, here in Texas, we got a lot of that stuff. So other areas of the country, maybe that doesn't exist. So I'm really glad that you're here. Just because you're outside of DFW does not mean that you cannot join these groups. They're open. These are open to the community. So when I'm talking about Dallas Pit Crew, you don't have to be from Dallas to go to the Pit Crew, the practice interview team. Be from anywhere. All right. And I'm excited because some more news that's coming in it won't be immediate, but I'll be partnering up with my church, which is Covenant Church. So I don't know if we have any Covenant Church members in the room. Anybody go to Covenant Church, maybe either the Carrollton campus or the McKinney campus? No? Well, I attend a church called Covenant Church. They are awesome. They're just the best. And we're going to be partnering up to bring, a summit, a live summit in person, a live, high energy, high impact, but it'll also be online. So if you're not from this area, you'll be able to get the online experience. Obviously, because of COVID, this will be a little bit ways out, but we're planning now. We're getting everything, I'm gonna plan it all now and get this stuff out to you. But I'm really, really excited about that because some of you have heard me talk about this before. My mission, and I kind of I want that high impact type of meeting where it's like you're gonna walk into like a Tony Robbins feel of a meeting, like high energy. You're gonna get lifted up and inspired, because I know a lot of times the biggest problems are up here, right? The biggest problems oftentimes are right in between your noodle, and you just need some encouragement. You got to get lifted up. And so I'm excited that we're going to be able to do that very soon, and it'll be in person. And if you're not from around here, you'll also get the online experience as well. So very cool stuff coming. All right, what else we got going on in here? Let's see. So we had Daniela said more interviews. I'm trying to see if there was some other things that are holding you guys back that we can touch on. Let's see, 2 interviews in October. Feel free also, as I'm reading through the comments, guys, feel free if you want to come in with a question.
Hey, I noticed one of the comments, Robin Triggs, you had put, was it 0 and a certain number? Was it 9? 0 and 9? Okay. Do you want to talk about what you're looking for? And, we can maybe flesh out if there's a gap somewhere in what you're, looking at.
Absolutely. I am a massage therapist by trade, and I've been doing it for about 20 years. But I think with COVID, obviously, you can't stay 6 feet apart and still massage someone. So I haven't been doing it. And I want to just transition. I want to do something safe, and I want to do something where I can make a good amount of money. So I'm thinking sales. I'm thinking maybe insurance. I think I've heard one of your shows talking to the Mark or Mike from New York Life.
Yeah.
Thinking about recruiting. I'm open to different opportunities, but most of my professional non-massage experience is 15 years old. And so my career coach is telling me not to put that on my resume because it's too old. But then it looks like I'm just a massage therapist and have no other experience. So I think that's part of it. And then he's my career coach. I just got like last month. So he's telling me to be more active on LinkedIn. He's the one who got me over here. Jason Hopper from Jewish Family Services.
Yes.
So he's the one who connected me to you guys. And so now I'm starting to network. I'm starting to get active. I'm starting to put myself out there more. So I think it was me not doing the right things for 9 months. So now I'm about 2 weeks into doing the right stuff. So we'll see.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you connected with Jason Hopper. He's a great guy. So guys, on that note, real quick, Jewish Family Services has a lot of phenomenal resources over there. They have a whole career and financial services business over there that helps job seekers. It's free. It's for the community, and you don't have to be Jewish. So like, just, I know it's Jewish Family Services. I get that question a lot. People are like, do you have to be Jewish? You don't have to be. They're open to the community. You know, anyway, so they got some amazing resources. I'm glad you plugged in with Jason. Yeah, and I think that's good that you're getting your networking started. Mike Scoville, yeah, he came on the show last week. He's the managing partner of the Dallas Fort Worth General Office, and so that could be an area we can explore if it's if it's a good fit. If not, you mentioned sales. Sales, I will tell you guys, this is for everybody in the room. Sales is always in demand, right? More than other industries, because it takes a special person, right? Not everybody wants to do sales, so it's always in demand. And sometimes when things are tough, you might want to go where the jobs are, right? Maybe you want to go where they're hiring, and sales is one of those fields where it's typically always in demand. They're always hiring, so.
Well, and one of the things that you can do, and I'm not sure if you had your own, business, your own practice, or if you worked for somebody, but if you had your own business, your own practice, and you're an entrepreneur, selling is absolutely part of what you did. So what you can do in your resume is just kind of take a transition from the actual massage, the actual work, and really capitalize and highlight upon the business side, the ownership, the selling, those skill sets, and add those into that position. If that's the most recent position, rather than it looking like just purely like, I'm a massage therapist and that's all I did is, massage. The other components of that, making sure that you're, highlighting those skills, those transferable skills.
Yeah, 100%. That's a great point. Yeah, you were much more than just massaging people. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, if you owned your own business, you were doing that. Like, yeah, you did it all. You did it all. Sales, marketing. I mean, you did it all. So, yeah, if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, you need to be exploring some of these other things out there. They can give you some freedom for sure. So, Lori Oken, where are you at? There you are. How are you, Lori? So good. Oh no. Okay. Never mind. I'm not calling on you. Never mind. I'm not calling on you.
Oh, and by the way, Bears, Trevor, have 9 championships. Now they only have 1 ring because the Super Bowl is only a certain ways back, but they have 9 championships. So.
Y'all don't make me do it. Hold on. Don't make me do it. Hold on. Y'all gonna make me do it? Y'all gonna make me do it?
Background. Nah, my background's better.
This was actually a game day helmet in memory of Tom Landry. It's got the dream team on there. Okay, y'all made me do it. Just saying.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. I know.
You're way better than me. I mean, I just go outside and watch the football and under those like tents, the igloos. In Chicago, we have igloos, and like tents in the street because it's cold. So you just bundle up with your friends, and I've been trying to get a job in those tents, and jobs like I have, business cards, and I pass out like water bottles, like anything to get a job. And everyone's like, no jobs here, Lori, not in Chicago. You got to move. So do I really have to move to Dallas? Is that what you guys keep telling me?
I'm not saying that you have to. I'm just saying it could potentially be easier, right? Like that was in one of my job resource management series that I went over, was like, sometimes you got to go where the jobs are. And so if it's tough for you, it just means it'll take longer. It's not that you're not going to land. You're going to. It just may take you longer to get it where you are. It may take you longer than if you move to a Dallas or something like that.
Yeah, because right now my stacking is pretty empty.
Well, come on to Dallas. We would love to have you here in Dallas. I see the reason I picked on you is you had a question for Daryl. I don't know if Daryl was able to get to it or not, but he says, any tips on applying for those government jobs? I keep starting and getting bumped out. Daryl, are you here with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know if there's any particular thing, just you have to deal with the process, right? I started the process with Military Sealift Command in June. They are not fast moving at all. And so you just have to get through their process and their paperwork and all of the things they ask for, get them back as quick as you can. And then they're not fast on the, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks. And then I said, hey, I got a phone call, or 2 or 3 months. And they said, hey, we're going to have an interview. Took them a couple of weeks to get that scheduled in. Then I had a phone interview. And then it was 4 to 6 weeks to get a confirmation back that we're going to move forward. And now I got a paper, an email last week that says, okay, now we need all of this stuff. And so I've spent the last 3 or 4 days running down immunization records and all the other things that they want me to fill out and the forms they want me to fill out and get all that stuff submitted back to all the different places they want it to get submitted to. So it's just a long process. But by the time you get to those stages, they've already done their vetting for you. They've already done all those pieces. They're putting you in place to go get the opportunity. It'll turn on at that point.
Okay, so you're in, Daryl. You're in.
Yeah, more or less. I've got to finish up some more things and get them all of the pieces of the puzzle they want so they can, bless me. And then it'll be 30 to 60 days out when I get scheduled for orientation.
Sounds like you get an appointment at the VA.
Yeah, I've got one of those too. I got. They started it in February. June, and I got the appointment in February. Yes.
Well, I'm just going to speak this. I'm going to speak it into existence. Congrats in advance, my friend. Congrats in advance. Look, just keep going, man. Sometimes, guys, this is like you're planting seeds, right? And the seeds just sometimes they take a little bit to sprout, right? Like we don't always see it, guys. That's what I was saying earlier. Who was it earlier that was like, I had 5 interviews in the last 2 months? Yeah, Daniela, yeah. So like sometimes you just don't see it. You're not aware of where you're at. You planted a seed 6 months ago and you're like, where am I? It's kind of like I was talking about with this whole follow button with LinkedIn, right? Back in July, I put in that petition, right? Back in July. Covenant Church, I've been working with them. I mean, I've been attending the church forever, for like 7-8 years, right? And like we're not like pieces are moving and things like it's been an 7-8 year process, right? Guys, this is the type of stuff you don't always see it, but God is behind the scenes orchestrating all of this stuff, right? You don't see it, but he's back there making things happen. And Daryl, man, congrats. I can't wait to officially.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's just like I said, it's a process. And they send you an email. They don't necessarily give you a phone call. They'll set up those appointments, and it's just you have to make sure that you're staying on top of it. As Mark said, it's much like getting an appointment or into the VA. If you don't stay on top of the process, then they don't think you care. So then they're just going to go deal with whatever else they need to go do, right? So then you're not staying in front of them. So it's just part of the process.
That's a great point too, because follow up, right? So imagine that. Imagine that their hiring process is 6 months, right? Ugh. Like, but if you don't follow up throughout that 6 month period, right? Maybe you followed up for 3 months and then stop, right? So you got to be following up. That's a great point. That's an awesome point. Got to continuously, consistently follow up. That's what we talk about in sales. They say it's a common term. They say the money's in the follow up. You have to follow up. Otherwise, you're giving up on your seeds. You planted a seed, but you never watered it. You never put any water on it. You got to water that thing. Otherwise, it's never going to sprout. So got to water your seeds. Oh, Jim, you're back with us. And I love your background, man. So that's what I'm talking about. We got to get the Cowboys representing. We had a win yesterday. So, Jim, I know you were trying to talk earlier, but oh, man. Did you just psych me out with the Seahawks, bro?
Oh, we're better than you are right now.
Oh. Well, you did just beat. Didn't y'all beat Washington?
I watched them both win yesterday.
Didn't you beat Washington yesterday? Wasn't that
Yes.
what happened? So thank you. You helped us by that. So I'll give you this today. I'm going to give you that.
That's okay. The Jets beat the Rams, which helped us.
The Bears won too.
We don't care about the Bears.
Yeah, we don't care about those. All right, Jim, tell us real quick, because I know you were trying to talk to us earlier, but the mic and I think the internet or whatever. So holler at us. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Yeah, I was having a problem with this laptop, and the video went haywire. Down because that's in the lower part. But yeah, I opened up. I'm opening up a franchise coming around March, April timeframe for Team Logic, and I'm slowly working on building up that whole process. It'll be in the Fort Worth, Lake Arlington area. We're trying to find an office right now. I need tech, so my first person I'll be hiring is a senior technician. Kind of, Active Directory, Windows, kind of a generalist in a lot of areas at an engineering level. So trying to put all that together, find that right person that will help me find the right businesses. And it's mostly around small business, medium businesses, trying to help their IT or help migrate, things like that. Advise them, augment whatever help them out. So if you know anybody, have them send an email to me with their resume and we'll see what we look at.
Absolutely. So make sure you put your LinkedIn URL in the chat. And that way everybody can talk with you offline and just try to, figure out if we can make some things happen, open some doors. Josh Ferris in the house. What up, Josh Ferris?
What up, dude?
Man, what's going on with you, man? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I got some fun stuff to share, but we'll talk about it next year. I know everybody's got to go.
Well, I appreciate you. Hey, I'm sorry I wasn't able to make your holiday party, man. I really felt bad about that. So
that's all right, man. It was on a Friday afternoon. We still had fun. There were a lot of familiar faces here that were on there, so we had a good time.
I saw that, man. I was like, man, look at that. Good job, man. So good for you putting that together, man. That's awesome. So guys, I want you to take note on that kind of stuff. He went out of his way to put together a holiday party for job seekers and recruiters and, companies and all that. Like, went out of his way to put that together and orchestrate that. And I'm sure you probably got a lead or two come out of that. I would have to imagine.
Nah, but
nothing else, it was a great time.
I think everybody had a good time. That was the main thing. I think there were a couple people that got some new networking stuff out of it. I was just going to follow up with what you said with, God's working in some mysterious ways, man. And I think the thing that I've learned most is that if if you have a set of expectations in it, you should probably just throw those out the window as you're driving along this journey, because the skills and the that I've learned in networking are going to be paramount to this job opportunity that's come up. And it had nothing to do with what I thought I was doing. It had nothing to do with applying for jobs. Like, you want to talk about career pivot, I'm pulling a U-turn in a major way. But what I'm going into, what I've been doing with talking with people and making videos and branding myself, it's going to be everything in this next career. And so don't get discouraged if where you think you're going you're not getting there very quickly, because God may have a completely different destination for you and you just haven't seen it yet. But when it all starts to like fall into place, your mouth's going to hit the ground and you're going to be like, oh my gosh. So just hang in there. You're going to get there. And
Yeah, when it happens, when it happens, you're like, okay, now I get it. Now I understand. I was here for this reason, for that reason. Like, it all came together. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. So you want to know where this all started with me and helping job seekers and all that kind of stuff? Like, very, very, very beginning, backstory. I was networking. I was having coffee and was talking about what I do on a business side. And somebody said, you need to go see South Lake Focus Group. You need to go over there. So it was just like a coffee networking meeting. And then the guy prayed over me. Right. And like, this guy also, okay, you ever had somebody pray over you like intensely? Like, I mean, whoa, type of a prayer. Like, I wish I had that kind of authority that I could just, man, this guy, woo, he got me. And I'm like, whoa, that guy changed my life. That guy in that meeting at that coffee changed my life. Right? Crazy stuff. And it's just,
if I can interject something too, I'm a more senior guy than many of you on here, but I was promoted 5 times by 2 companies in 6 years back in 1986 to 1992. And I got let go twice because they sold divisions of the companies I was with. And it really forced me to do what I was really passionate and interested in doing, which was working for myself. So I started a company up in 92. I sold it to a publicly traded company in 2000. And I've started 3 more since. And sometimes you think the worst thing that can be happening to you is the biggest blessing of your life. And I can't imagine going back. For me, the prospect of a job search is not a pleasant one, but the prospect of actually landing a job is even more unpleasant. So I would encourage all of you to keep your options and ideas open. Be open to what God is calling you to do. He'll give you nudges. He'll knock on the door. It may not be a knock. It may be just a little tap. But if you open that door, he'll honor that.
Amen.
Mic drop. Hold on. Mic drop. That is awesome. Guys, well, it is 4:08. We don't want to keep everybody too long. We've had our summit today, and so we've got some folks on with us right now who have been with us since 1 o'clock. So we appreciate each and every one of you. We love you so much. Merry Christmas if we don't see each other again. We are having a show this Wednesday. Okay. So I would love to see all of you on the show this Wednesday live on LinkedIn. Please join us. We've got a very, very, very special guest, Danelle Delgado. You need to go check her out. Powerhouse. This is going to be a phenomenal show right before Christmas. So, I'll see you guys Wednesday. All right. Bye-bye. Y'all have a fantastic, blessed day.
Trevor?
Oh, yes.
Is there a job resource management series tomorrow happening at 1 p.m.?
Not tomorrow. No, that will be on the 5th of January is the first one. It's the first Tuesday. So job resource management series is every first and third Tuesdays.
Okay.
At
Thank
1.
you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.